Dip in your hip and glide in your stride. Welcome to the Mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Warning! This video contains content that is not suitable for all audiences. Some of the information in the following video could be shocking to some viewers and is likely to cause unexpected reactions. This video is for educational purposes only and does not break any of the YouTube's policies as outlined in their community guidelines. Viewers' discretion is advised. Good evening, travelers and those alike. Welcome to this episode of the Orion Effect right here on the R.I.F.T Nation Network. I am the quintessential social media hitman himself, Ed Odell.
And I am his co-hostess, Rhonda Harris.
I hate when you do that. Co-hostess my ass. Here's the hostess with the mostest of the screen.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And we are joined tonight
I see extra people.
We do. We have some special guests in the house. That's why I'm coming off the side of the screen here. I'm going to get closer to KB, though. He's just going to have to get uncomfortable. We are live from here at the cabin on 360 in Mechanicsville Turnpike with some OGs of the paranormal of Central Virginia, if you will. But before we introduce our great guest, if you will, Rhonda, let's say hello to our good travelers and friends out there.
Absolutely. Hello to Robert Odell, who has joined us, the other Odell brother.
Oh, brother of doom.
Miss Mama Judy Atkins has joined us. Carlene Smith, Kim Sage, Renee Cody, Valerie Resnacki, Raznick, and Sun Dragon, and John Sullivan. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
New Zealand is in the house tonight. What?
Awesome.
Hello, New Zealand. Thank you for joining us. Good evening, everybody. Tonight, we usually talk about our big events and all that. We won't have time. we need to jump into the show tonight.
Yes.
Like we said, we got some OGs in the house tonight with us. First of all, from the original R.I.P. What?
What? Yeah, Richmond Investigators of the Paranormal. We just don't talk the talk like the other guys. We walk the walk. That's because we are Richmond Investigators of the Paranormal. And my lead investigator, Terry Pitts, is with me tonight.
There it is. Hey,
Hello.
See, it's hard to get a word in with KB because he just rolls with it. I'm like, calm down, Bridal. That's why I love him. So tonight we're going to talk about a little bit of how you got into the paranormal. We're going to talk a little bit about your experiences as a police officer. How did it help you in the paranormal? We're going to talk about a little media broadcasting.
Yeah.
We're going to dive a little bit into each part of that brain of yours tonight, sir.
You got a lot of digging to do.
Yeah, we got a lot of digging and a little bit of time. That means we have to continue this on another time too. And Terry has joined us. I'm excited when he walked in the door. I'm like, get them both. Roll those dice. So Terry, we're going to be talking to Terry about his experiences and what he's experienced comparatively to then to now. So thank you all for joining in tonight. It's going to be a great show tonight. The show is brought to you by Boost Paranormal Equipment. The best price for the best equipment for the right investigator. Also from the Cabin on 360 right here in the historic Mechanicsville Turnpike and GOS, Ghosts of Stanton, Virginia. If you have a chance, you're in the Shenandoah Valley, don't miss the opportunity to take that tour. It's only $10 per person. Check it out all seasons long with different travel investigations that you can do and tours. So check that out. So welcome to the show, guys. Really appreciate y'all being here.
Appreciate that.
So you already did your own introduction. I don't need to do anything else. I think you.
Oh, you can do anything
you know.
you do.
Terry, how did you get involved with this crazy son of a biscuit eater?
Well, nice. I'm just saying.
We got YouTube walls.
Nice.
Can't say the D word. Can't say the C word.
My attorney. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nice.
I'll be nice.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I got into Civil War reenactment, and that got me into ghost hunting. But in order to meet KB, I was out at a auction place looking around for antiques and all that stuff, and I met Bill. And then Bill introduced us to KB, and that's how we got going.
Yeah.
As far as investigating, we started doing battlefields right at the beginning of it. Right here up at Gaines Mill, Cole Harbor, Beaver Dam Creek. We did those at the beginning.
And a few other places that we did. We did the investigation at a plantation. A lot of people don't know about it, but it was one of the first plantations that had a hot air balloon that spied on the Union soldiers. And that was a very, very paranormal place to go to. So, we've been all around.
I'm going to say y'all have gotten, and we were talking before the show, y'all have been to places that a lot of the teams are no longer available to get into. Yeah. They can't get into. So we're going to hear a little bit of these stories tonight of the 80s and the 90s and early 2000s and what it was like investigating then comparatively to now. I'm really looking forward to that part there. How in the world did you get into the paranormal?
Well, it started many years ago. I had a paranormal experience years ago, and it made me think something's happened, something's going on that I could understand as being a cop. And everything I did as a cop, I had to see it to believe it. Mm-hmm. I had to have some type of evidence, and that's what got me started. I wanted to prove that there's something there. You got to show me the evidence.
When was your first experience?
My first experience probably back in around late or either early 80s.
Okay.
I was staying at a house one night. I had a guy standing. It's snowbound, so I had to stay at this house because couldn't drive home. So I was sleeping on the couch. I'll say around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I laid on the side, looked up, and saw a guy standing between the hallway and the bathroom. Well, I laid on my side and I said, "Hey, Ralph, what are you doing? You trying to scare me?" He didn't answer. I said, "All right, Ralph, it's not gonna work. You can't scare me." Anyway, I rushed back and cut the light on. When I cut the light on in the hallway where I saw the guy standing, it was nobody. It was not a soul there. So I rushed back, cut the light back off, and looked over again. He's still standing there. I was so Yes, I'm not going to be the first one to lie to you. I slept that night with the light on. Yes, I did. I had a couple of paranormal experiences in that house, but yeah, my first experience, I slept with the light on. Yeah, every time I cut the light off, this man was standing there, just wouldn't say nothing. He just weaving side to side, hands to the side.
Just kind of checking you out.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder about that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get a little further into that tonight. Do not worry. If we do not recognize you, please do not get offended. We've got a large, as you can see, group tonight with us. We will post your comments, and if we get to your comment, we will definitely get to it. But at least we will make sure it's posted so everybody's acknowledged. That's what we are here for your questions and answers, because you're just as much a part of the show as anybody else. So please don't worry.
Yeah.
We will post those for you.
And I'm going to keep an eye out for like actual questions. So if those pop in, I can interrupt with those.
Awesome. Terry, how about you? What was your first experience that you remember?
Well, like I said, I started Civil War reenacting probably around 1996. And we did a battle down Sailor's Creek battlefield. They used to have actual reenactments down there.
Okay.
I think they're starting back this year, but they stopped after a while. But I was in the tent. I got about 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday night. After, usually when you have a battle, that's what brings most of the, spirits out. So I went in the tent and I heard somebody outside, and a bunch of kids looked in my tent and said, "Hey, let's go ghost hunting tonight." I said, "Okay." It was probably about, let's say, 50 degrees, maybe 40. It was cold. And we walked around the battlefield, and I took back then, we didn't have digital cameras. We had the old 35 millimeter.
And old Polaroids.
Everything was analog.
Yeah.
Everything was analog.
I like it. I wish we'd go back to that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I thought the 35 millimeter took better pictures as far as of ghosts that I ever had as far as digital.
Yeah.
Because after that, and then we went around, we took pictures, and it was creepy at night down there being on the battlefield. And we got back, and I went in to get the pictures done, and it was full of orbs all over the place. Especially, they had an electric line that went through there, and you can see orbs all around that electric line, I guess because of the energy.
Yeah.
There. And there was one picture in there. I took a picture right at a in the field, but it's at the edge of the woods. And I looked at it and looked up. It looked like I saw a figure in it. And then I got in touch with a lady, and she knew how to bring out the picture. And when she did, it was a soldier kneeling with a rifle aimed at us. And another gentleman, you can see his kepi, you can see his mustache, you can see his vest, his coat and vest. And he was looking right at us. And I didn't know that at the time. But when I talked to the person, the ranger there, he said there was 2 Confederate soldiers buried down in the field.
Wow.
So
Wow.
That was the first time that would got me going as far as doing ghost hunting.
Gave you some confirmation right off on that one too.
Yeah, exactly. And I think battlefields, you have a lot of good luck on battlefields, certain ones that I've been to. So.
Well, we're going to come back because you just led me into another question that I want to bring to you. But I want to get back to KB about something real quick. While you were on the force, did you ever have any experiences while you were under the badge?
Never did. Like I said, I remember going to a homicide one time where a guy died, but I never had any type of experiences. The normal day of work. I never had any type of paranormal.
Well, back then, did the guys even talk about experiences?
No, if you did, you'd be banned.
Right.
You couldn't do it. You could not do it. You would lose your job. Put it like that.
Right, and that's crazy. I wanted to talk about that because we're talking about then to now, and I wanted to give that example of what it was like back then. It's not just spiritualism. Even paranormal was a voodoo to talk about back pre-early to late 80s.
Well, you got to remember one thing about it. If you or a Hollywood movie star, and I've had a lot of movie stars, TV stars on my radio and television. Back in the day, if you talked about you had a paranormal experience, guess what? You'll never work in Hollywood again. They will label you as being mentally ill. So a lot of movie stars and TV
Is that what
stars.
happened to Dan Tarkenton?
Yeah.
I don't mean to joke. That's seriously when he was on Real People. I mean, I remember that episode.
And like I said, if you talked about the paranormal, you would be labeled as a mental illness, and you would lose your job, and you wouldn't work in Hollywood anymore. And that went for the news media and other places. Even as a professional police officer, they would have you evaluated. So you can talk about it.
That's a crazy thing. And look how far we've come.
Yeah.
Look how far we have come.
Terry and I, we've been investigating for years. And we were investigating when prior to any television shows.
I was getting ready to bring that up. No, you're fine. No.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at the original members of one of the first two teams in Central Virginia, R.I.P. and CPRI. These were the OGs. These guys, man. So we went old school on your butts tonight. With
no win.
So, Rhonda, you got anything, or you want to keep rolling? Because I can keep going.
Robert just said, awesome idea around Powerline Pictures. I have to remember that one.
Yeah, because Kenny, that's my brother. That's the other frog brother.
Oh, okay.
He's the one I had the experience with, and he's had plenty of experiences pre to my experience, and of course after the fact.
Right.
Yeah, it was ready. His major. I'm just going to toot his horn for a second. He had an incident in Gettysburg in the 80s where he saw a loop in time, dimensional door, however you want to call it. And then a week later, a girl said she saw the same thing with her parents. And that's when it got put on mysteries, unsolved mysteries. So, I mean, like those instances when they get documented didn't hit real time like that. And that's the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, so
he also said, same for U.S. military, you're an automatic 8.
Section 8 on that, yeah. And now, you know, and it seems we still don't have a lot of military guys talking about those activities. There's some people out there, but they still won't talk about it. I don't know if it's PTSD or if it's they don't want to be labeled as.
Yeah, they're afraid to be labeled.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, stereotype.
Label me, I don't give 2 damn.
Yeah, we stereotype,
Yeah, it's true.
You do hear a few like emergency, like rescue people that will say, you know, they've heard or seen something at a like crash or something like EMTs, but you don't hear a lot about it.
No, it's only been in the last 10 years that we even actually have the law enforcement going, I don't know experience. Yeah. Very true. I'm going to flip the switch real quick. I'm going to run back over to Terry. Terry, you said you're a reenactor.
Yes.
When you get in these fields, and we have some friends that are reenactors, do you find that you have a lot of activity during your reenactments?
Yes.
Really? Is there any moments that you can recall that really stand out for you when you were in the field and doing one of these encampments?
Okay, Sailor's Creek wasn't much. Cedars Creek was probably one of my better ones that I've been to that I actually saw a person or whoever it was walking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can tell that story if you want me to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
We're all here for you.
We were at a place called Cedar Creek. Saturday night is usually the night that everything happens after the battle. Like I said, I was in my tent. It was probably 10:30 at night. I had to go up to go to the bathroom, which was 100 yards away. So I got up, and we had a gentleman that was sitting beside the fire named Cookie. Now, he's passed away now, but he was sitting there. I told him, I said, watch the fire. I'll be back for about 10, 15 minutes. So on the way back, I was seeing this gentleman up the road. I saw it was probably about, they have lights up there that kind of shines over almost the whole battlefield night so people can see, you know, to do some things.
Yeah, they have like that in Gettysburg now too.
Yeah. And so on the way back, I saw this gentleman or this person or whatever walking towards me. He was on the right side of the road. I was on the left side of the road. Now, as we got closer, I kind of, hey, how you doing? I didn't hear no words spoke. So when we got almost side by side each other, I looked over at him. Like I said, he was on one side of the hole. I was on the other. I looked over. He had like a blank expression on his face.
Did he identify you at all?
No,
You didn't know.
he was walking forward.
Okay.
But this is the other thing. After we passed, I didn't even look back. I wish I had a camera at that particular time. I would have taken
The time we wish we had the
Oh,
pieces of
yeah.
equipment, right?
Exactly. When I got back to camp, I went into camp and I said, Cookie, I saw somebody walking up the road, and he said, wait, let me tell you what happened. He said, this gentleman with this, we call it Lincoln cap on, we call it coal.
Hat?
Yeah, the cap that Lincoln, wore.
Oh, the pipe hat.
Yeah, pipe hat. He had a pipe hat, and he was real skinny. He had a vest and coat, went down to his knees. Pants, I guess, regular pants. You couldn't tell, but pants, he had pants. He said the gentleman came into camp, sat across from the fire from him. He sat there. He didn't say anything. He just looked down at the fire like, he was getting warm and everything. He sat there for about 30 seconds. He got up and he went between the tents. Now, you can't walk between two tents because tents are like up to each other like this.
Right.
So he's bound to have been like floating in between the two tents. And so Cookie got up right after, after he turned, Cookie got up to go look for him. Gone. He disappeared.
Now,
And he reappeared back up the road.
that intrigues me, and I'm going to tell you why. A, was it intelligent or residual? Now, that could be both. But really, was it residual if he came and sat down and looked at the fire? That's showing intelligent reaction. So, wow. I mean, that's something you don't think about. Even that, Rhonda, just
Yeah.
like, you don't. I can see if it's walking
And it
through
could be both at the same time.
right.
Well, see, they got a plantation house. We think it was the plantation owner because they got a plantation house right behind camp I guess it's probably about a half a mile away. You can see it from the camp. But that's who we think it was. I never went into the building to actually see if that's a man, gentleman that it was, but that's who we think it was.
I think that's pretty cool.
Well, the cool part is, how many people out there have seen your team members? Both of you seen the same thing.
Yep.
Now, Terry and I will remember this. We did a place up in Warsaw, Virginia. And we went up in there. The road, I'm telling you, was over 2 miles long. One way in, one way out, one car in. Whoever came in first was lucky because the other car had to back out, backwards. Terry and I did an investigation. I guess it was about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. We decided we'd had enough. Well, we had a good night. We caught a lot of stuff. The radio inside the old barn had no outlet, no electricity, and that started playing. The worst part about it, after the investigation, they told us about this old man that would be seen on the property peering in windows. Well, that night we investigated. Terry will verify it. And at first he looked at me and I looked at him like, what have we seen? We were sitting there. There was a pool table right in front of us. And to my left of us was a kitchen where you could walk into the kitchen. In front of the pool table was a door. Now, you had to come in through the door to come through where we were at and go to the kitchen to walk right in front of us. Well, we wrapped up all our equipment. We took up all the microphones, cameras, and everything. I mean, we just wrapped it up and packed it up and waited for a ride to come and get us out these woods. Well, no sooner than that, Terry and I were sitting there talking, and another guy was talking. Tracy was a guy named Tracy. And all of a sudden, the door opens up right in front of us. The door opens wide open. Here comes this guy. Looked like they had big overalls or something like that on him. And he didn't say nothing. He walked towards us, took his right, and went into the kitchen. Now, I looked at Terry. I didn't want to say nothing. I didn't want him to say, man, what are you smoking? I didn't smoke. And I looked at Terry, and Terry looked at me and then looked over here at Tracy. Tracy looked at me. And we kind of didn't want to say nothing. Yeah. And I think one of us said, what did you see? We all described the same guy that walked right in front of us, around the pool table, took a right to the kitchen, disappeared.
Now, you could see, like, through it. It wasn't like he was solid.
Yeah.
So he was opaque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could see him. He came through the door, walked around the pool table, looked at us, and walked into the kitchen. Boom, gone. And like I said, I know I wasn't smoking, and Terry wasn't smoking, and I knew Tracy wasn't. We were having drinking, but yeah, that's a weird experience to have 3 guys during the investigation, and everybody sees the same thing at the same time.
Mass haunting. 2
Yeah.
or more
Yeah.
individuals witnessing a haunted event. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
That was neat.
Terry has a tendency to bring things out, and
He's a lighthouse. Isn't
yeah,
he?
he is. He's a light in the head. I mean, he's a lighthouse.
Here it's
But
already
what
started.
I'm saying is, we do have one of our investigators on our team that doesn't like to tell people that she's intuitive or psychic, and she has a tendency of seeing things, and she can tell you about people that we never knew nothing about. We did an investigation at a hunt club up in Amelia County.
Yeah.
And she told us about the man, told us a little bit of history of the hunt club.
Okay.
Extremely haunted. And the man never told us about the little girl. And that's for another story. So we'll save it for another time. But
I know the kind of story, though.
yeah. But I was always good. I was a smart guy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wish I was.
Feet don't fail me there. Feet don't fail me there.
If somebody
You
sat
pulled a
beside-
Scooby-Doo?
Yes, sir. Feet don't fail me there. I tell you what, I can run.
If somebody sat beside him, he was up quick.
Yeah, yes, sir. I will climb over top. You tell him, Terry.
Oh yeah.
I let it be known, guys. I'm not stupid. I run to live another day. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Like Curly said, KB and his spoon.
That's another show.
There you go.
That's
It's
another
another
show.
shit. What's it like investigating with KB?
That's good. I mean, I like him. He kind of gets them going. He's like the instigator. Him and Bill were the instigators, and me and Tina were the soft-spoken. We usually bring them out, and we did one investigation. It was like once for yes and twice for no. And we said, "Do you like Ken and Bill?" They said no.
I can't help it. They love me.
Oh yeah.
To know me is to love me. That's what I used to tell the spirits. Yeah.
Let me catch up here. Okay, I didn't see that one. You know what? Here, there's no telling what's being said or what could be said here. I ain't told Terry, yeah, go ahead and turn on your microphone. You'll never know what we catch around here, what they want. And that's the thing. We don't encourage the activity. We just encourage them to interact when they want to. So if you do hear something here, just note it out for us, and that'd be great. We don't really interact with them per se unless they want interaction. Just to let you know, it is an active location. Yes. So, KB, what's it like working with Terry then? Let's flip it
It's
around.
fun. It's fun. He tickles me. I mean, because I see one thing I know about Terry, which is to my benefit. If things get really too bad, and I know I can trip him, he can't run. I mean, I might be short, but I will trip him.
See, Terry's being nice. He'll be right back in the
I'm
club.
not gonna lie to you. I will trip him in a heartbeat. Hey, I live to see another day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear
Hey, I'm just glad to hear a seasoned investigator say that every once in a while he will run too. Because it happened to some of us ladies at Sweet Springs where we got unexpectedly startled and we all kind of booked it. And there's a joke going around. They're going to make T-shirts that call us the Sweet Springs Track Stars.
Yeah, hey, that's why when I go on investigation, I wear Univall tennis shoes.
Have y'all been to Sweet Springs yet?
Huh?
Have y'all been to Sweet Springs yet? That's
No.
a new location.
No.
That's just some. We're gonna have to get them in touch with who about some Sweet Springs stuff for them in the next couple of years.
What's Sweet Spring?
It's another asylum. We're out there in West
It's
Virginia.
in West Virginia, like just barely in West Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Well, like I said, how Ed knows that we were the first group that investigated the same asylum up in Bradford.
St. Albans.
Yeah, St. Albans.
Yep.
And when we did that place before they ever remodeled it, and you could open the door and take a step, and if you weren't careful, you would go all the way down to the
Danger
subway.
zone.
Yeah, it was
Danger
that bad.
zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all were rolling around when Desjardins was actually still available too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So envious of you, motherfucker. I did good. I didn't cuss. Did y'all hear that? but a couple of invoices might be coming out here. So y'all did get to investigate a lot of the locations that we can't now. How do y'all feel about that with these groups and these people that?
Well, it's the groups that are looking for people. I mean, you go out there and investigate. You go out there and investigate as a professional.
Yeah.
And our motto used to be is we investigate, we film it for you, but we're not going to tell you because you want to make money off it that the place is haunted.
Right.
If it's not haunted, we go there, we investigate it, we found nothing happening. I'm not going to tell you or tell your group it's haunted. Now, it means that at that time we were there, nothing happened. It didn't happen that night. We'll come back, we'll do it again. But I'm not going to put my name or my group's name on the line to tell you because you want to be satisfied that the place has paranormal activity, but I found any. So, I would not do that. I mean, I would come back, investigate it, and then if we find something, you would get the evidence on the CD and you can use it whatever you want to use it. But I'm not going to put my name or my group's name on it or something like that just to satisfy you.
Speaking of one place like that has a lot of activity, did y'all ever investigate Crab Louie's?
I've never heard
over
of
in
Crab Louie's.
Midlothian?
I've heard of Crab Louie's, but I don't know.
Never. It was the original carriage house between here and Danville.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people would stop there, get their fresh water and all that and move on. And I knew it at one time they had claimed it actually has a plaque of one of the most haunted locations in Richmond, or at least as of top 10 per.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if y'all had touched that. And I know there's, again, comparatively to what y'all could to what's now, I feel back then there were still more locations you could go to than you can now. And I feel kind of disappointed.
It's a lot of places you can still go. And again, it's your reputation, one thing. We had a group, and I think Terry remembers it. We had to end up calling the lawyers on them because what they did was they tried to use our name, and they went to investigate and using our name and almost ruined our reputation. So we had to call a lawyer, tell them to cease and stop using the name. Because you ruined our reputation.
Yeah, you know what? I do remember that group.
Yeah.
It was Henricus. They went down to Henricus.
Yeah, they went to Henricus. Henricus wanted us to come down and investigate it. And somehow they went down there behind our backs and told them they were us and they wasn't us.
Oh, wow.
First thing to do, I'll tell anybody that calls our group to investigate, check out, make sure you're getting what you're supposed to be getting. If there's somebody that's coming in Ed's group, wants his group to investigate, make sure you're getting Ed. I mean, make sure you talk to Ed personally, or make sure you see Ed when he comes there.
I'm going to say that's probably why we chose the name we did.
Yeah.
Because not only is it because RIP, there's now a lot of RIP groups out there. We picked the group name we did because it's unique.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can. There's only one other group that's all seeing paranormal, and they're actually over in the UK, and we actually communicate with them or used to. That's the abbreviations. You're making a definition of yourself nowadays because so many groups are named for the same thing, and yet it be RIP or whatever. There's a lot of groups.
Yeah. Well, you got it. Like you said, there's a lot of groups with the names. But RIP is, this is the stands for. RIP could be Rhode Island Investigation of Paranormal. So you got to know what you're getting. You got to know that you're asking for that right group, Richmond Investigators of the Paranormal, and you got to make sure you're getting what you're paying for or whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing we tell you back in the day, nowadays it's changed. When Terry and I and Ray one time would do investigations, we never paid for the investigation. We never paid to go somewhere to investigate.
But we never charged. We never charged.
Never charged. We never charged to investigate.
Yeah.
And places we investigated, now they want to charge you an arm and a leg. I'm not going to pay you to investigate. To tell you something's happening.
But let me ask you this: on a counterpart, a catch-22 on that, I do because I have worked at many of the historic locations as a volunteer. And I'm just going to throw those out. Shameless plug. I worked the Exchange Hotel as a volunteer. I've worked at the.
We worked that one.
We investigated
the Exchange. I loved the Exchange. It was like when I walked there, I knew I was home. The other was Selma Mansion, Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Again, another place that I felt that I'd been there. We found connections between the Exchange and Selma that led to Yorktown. And I don't know what it was, but the last 10 years, it's like people connected to places and things I found. I will say this. With being a volunteer in those locations, I do see the purpose now in giving money into. Now, I might feel a little high, but preserving history through the
Cutting
paranormal.
off.
That's the way I feel
Sorry
about
about
it.
that.
No, you're fine. That's the only time. But the prices that some of these places are charging, holy mother of God.
Yeah.
It's no worse than some of these pro entertainers and how much they're charging for their appearances. $10,000 and $15,000. Oh, you'll get me for that.
Yeah.
Rosie Harry,
Yeah.
you know, I think it's ridiculous.
It
now.
is. It's a ripoff.
I have had people when I was doing events and doing the electoral circuit. Well, how much do you charge, or what do you want? I'm like, dude, charge? I'm not charging you anything. I don't need anything from you. I'm here as a guest, and I want to support you.
Well, let me tell you, we went to Edgewood Plantation.
Yeah.
But what was the other group? Was it Ghost Hunters?
Yeah, Ghost Hunters.
They did the same thing, and we got more stuff than they did.
Yeah, what
In
people
one
don't
night, we
realize,
got more stuff than they did.
people don't realize about ghost hunters. This is, like you said, we investigated Edgewood Plantation
Before the Ghost
Before
Hunters
the Ghost
way
Hunters.
were even
and we
considered.
went back because they called us back to do it again after they left.
Mhm.
What they would do is they would come into Richmond. They would fly into the airport. They would go call you all whatever to bring their car to them. A special designed car. It's got to be black and it's got to look like they drove down to Richmond.
Paid by the travel channel.
So they would drive from the airport to the investigation. They would stay at the hotel and then come back the next day and investigate again. What they caught on their show, it was kind of funny, but because when the spider's on the wall, they go to commercial break. Everybody gets scared that it was a spider on the wall. But
Drama.
yeah, we've caught more things at that plantation than people that came on that wanted to investigate with us, and we would tell them, be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
Because we would let you into the slave quarters, which was highly haunted. It had a lot of rapes, murders, sodomy in the slave quarters at one time, and you would go and we would lock you in.
Mm-hmm.
And
lockdowns. You remember those days?
Yeah,
we actually had lockdowns. You can't leave. You're stuck here.
Yeah.
That was in mid to late 90s.
That was the old days.
Yeah.
We had people try to bang the doors down just to get out.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't let them out because some of them got to the point they would.
Mental disorders. Hello.
Yeah. So we used to do lockdowns, whole 9 yards.
Rhonda, I see Robert's asking a couple things. Let's drop it up in there.
Okay. I lost one of them. Hold on. Robert said, "Hey, do you guys investigate any in Fredericksburg or the Warrenton, Virginia area?"
We've been to Warrenton, and then I've been up to Fredericksburg once at a cemetery.
I can honestly say, I'm part of Fredericksburg Paranormal, and it's hard to get. Fredericksburg's one of those places where now they're not keen on letting you in, is what John says. They're not keen on letting you in a lot of places, so it's hard to get in. Robert said, "Amen, brother. No signing and no money."
Yeah.
Valerie asked a question. What is your opinions on why we don't see caveman ghosts or activity around that period of time?
What was that?
What's that?
This is a valid point. Thank you, Val, for that question. We've seen residual energy and spirits of 18, 19, 1600s, 1700s. Why do you all guys feel we don't see prehistoric residual energy or spirits? This is a valid one.
That's an easy question. You got to remember, where we investigate at, the reason we don't see any type of prehistoric human being was because there were no humans living on this part of the world. This part of where we live at now was ocean. So that's why we don't see any type of prehistoric creatures, humans, cavemen, because there were no cavemen in Virginia. You got to remember, the reason we don't see it is because Virginia was underwater. That's why.
That's a beautiful answer. That's a beautiful answer. I'll go and step in there a little bit too. We talk about one of the things that people don't acknowledge, and that it was the indigenous servant spirits. We're now hearing the investigators actually talking about it.
They do it in Richmond.
Now, I got a thing on it. I was at a place called Oakley Manor. Stonewall Jackson was up there during the Romney campaign for a week and got caught there during a snowstorm. Then one night, I set my recorder on during the night, and I got Indian drums and chants that night.
All over the place. And that's another thing. People were like, And this is humorous because Ryan and I actually chuckle about this. You get a lot of people going, well, why is there Indian and chant music there? It shouldn't be there. Really?
Really? I would say you would pick that up before even Civil War battles and things like that.
Absolutely. That's another thing. It's location, location, location. Damn, did I just do that? I did.
Yeah.
Williamsburg.
Do that again. I like that.
You like that one?
Yeah, do it
location, location, location.
Okay, got it.
It's my location, location, location. It is true. Think about it. Okay, Newport News, these kind of areas, you would see revolutionary.
Yeah.
Fredericksburg, up in that area, Zion Crossroads,
Yeah.
revolutionary. We don't capture it because we're not ready for it when it does happen, and we don't understand what's taking place. That's the other thing. We don't understand what we're seeing a lot of times.
Yeah. We see it, but we don't see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And these are great questions. Thank you, guys. Absolutely.
I hope that answered your question about why we don't see cavemen.
Because they're over on the other side.
Yeah. Now, you know, if we went to maybe the Midwest or somewhere like that, investigated, maybe it's a possibility that there's some type of grunts and moans. You know, yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and let you ask that one too, Rhonda.
Is it possible for spirits to follow you from place to place?
Yes.
Let's talk about that,
Yes.
shall we?
We like to call them back in the day. We call them piggybacks
Or attachment.
or attachment piggybacks. They would tag along on you, piggyback, and go where you go.
What did y'all now going back to that and making that statement? I don't mean to interrupt,
Yeah.
but let's do that. Back in the day, what was y'all's thoughts on that? Why was it happening then?
Why were they attaching themselves?
Back then, why did y'all think they were attaching themselves
Well,
to y'all?
Well,
There's a lot of reasons.
yeah, I was over at Keith's house.
Yeah.
And he always had stomach problems. He had stomach cancer. Was that what it was? He
Yeah,
had stomach cancer.
yeah.
We went. He invited us over to eat spaghetti one night, so we went over and ate one night. And I brought my equipment. I said, I'm gonna stay over there because that place was haunted.
Bad.
Bad. I mean, and I
Infestation.
Well, the guy was tortured. He was actually tortured in his home.
Oh, but
Yeah.
that's spirit.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
definitely infestation.
And I tell you what we do before you go to the story. If you ever invite us back, we'll talk a little bit about this haunted place in the west end of Virginia, and we can tell you, I can bring you evidence what fell out between the walls. So
We would definitely do that.
It
because
was
that way,
Patterson Avenue
gonna have the
where
film
it
out.
was, over Patterson Avenue. But I decided to stay there and investigate the whole night. See, I don't mind taking chances. I can go to the battlefield by myself. There's no problem at all.
yeah.
And that morning, I unpacked all my stuff, and I didn't feel anything that night. But then again, I went home. I was starting to get sick when I left the building, and when I got home, was having stomach issues. So I had it for a couple of days, and then a thought came in my head: Keith had stomach problems. So I decided maybe it's something attached to myself. So I get the hell off of me and go on back to Keith's house. 2 hours later, I was fine.
Let me ask y'all this, since we're on that real quick. Back in the day, there wasn't a lot of practitioners to go to help you for this,
no,
was it? I mean, you had Wu at
Yeah.
Divine Magic, you had Red
Yeah.
at the Stone Goddess, and then the rest of them you really had to seek and find out.
Yeah.
Especially if you went to the Aquarian. That was the only 3 places you can go to find somebody to actually help you with an attachment or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Is that right?
that's it. If you knew somebody that I would say dabbled in
Or practice.
the arts,
Yeah.
witch arts, and they knew a little bit about it, they would chant or do something for you and stuff like it. That was it. I mean, you better not go to a doctor, tell a doctor you got an attachment on you. You would find yourself down at Central State or you have all the attachments you want then.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, medication would do you wonders.
Westbrook would have
Yeah.
been packed.
Yeah.
Tuckers.
Tuck them down.
Tuck 'em down.
Tuck 'em down.
I mean, that's valid points. And look at now. Now we got practitioners. People are practicing Reiki and hands-on now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people to help other people out with attachments. So back then, y'all felt that it was still a spiritual attachment, and y'all still dealt with it the same way as it's been dealt with now.
Well, I'm lucky. I've never felt like anything was attached to me. I mean, of all the investigations I've ever done, I've been spooked a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I ain't think they want to attach to KB. No. I think I didn't want to chance it, I mean, that's the way I look at it.
That's because you run too fast.
Yes, yeah.
Amongst other things.
And the reason why I got attached is, let's get this sucker. He's here. Let's attach yourself.
Yeah.
Went on with me, and that was it. A couple of days, I was fine.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, here you go. I'm going to drop that in for you, Rhonda.
Okay, do you think spirits can evolve, like change over time periods, or is their time of death all they know? I know we recognize ancient as ancient, but do you think they could evolve or change?
You want to answer? Or you want to answer?
That's a good one.
well, why don't you answer first? And then
I'll give you my opinion. like it really matters. You know what I'm saying? But no, my opinion is, I think the entity or spirits at the time when they passed, it uses an analogy. It's like you and I are sitting and we're talking, and you and I got a business to conduct, and next thing you know, something falls off the roof, hits us in the head, and kills us. Now, are we still there conducting that business? No, I don't think they involved and become modernized spirits. I think they are living in that zone, wherever it may be. It's like a place down the road here. It's a building here.
The shock theory.
Right, it's a building here, but we got pictures of guys sitting there holding rifles. Now what guys would be in the storage area holding a rifle? I mean, no, I think they stay where they at in their time period. They just happen to maybe look on the other side of the veils, if you want to call it that. But no, I don't think they change up and become modernized and something like that. I really don't.
Wow, that is a great question. Now my brain's going tickle.
I was going to say, can I take that one step further before Terry answers? And then, Terry, you can cover both. But do you feel like, when you have a place that's not been investigated a lot and you have the same team go back over and over, do you feel like the spirits might get more used to seeing the same people there? And maybe that's why they get more active.
I think, well, I'll tell you a little quick story. At my house, Tina when we moved in, Tina came up there to help me paint and all that kind of stuff around my house to get it ready for us to move in. Well, when she came in the door, before she came in the door, she saw a man with glasses standing there on my driveway. And I asked her, what does he look like? She said he's a tall man with brown hair, with glasses, kind of thin. And he looks like he's around 6 foot tall. Well, when my father passed away, he had liver disease. He was big. And so it sounded like my father was outside when she saw him. But when she came into the house, she says this little old lady, probably about 5 foot tall, with a green and flowery dress on. And she looked young. She probably looked right around her 40s at the time, with light brownish hair. And she'd never been in the house before. Now, it was a picture of her all the way back in the dining room at the back. And Tina didn't see it. And so I went and got that picture. And she says, is this her? She said, yes, that's her. But she was a whole lot younger than that picture was. She was in a green flowery dress with the brownish hair, glasses. Now, and I know my house is haunted, but, I think my brother's there, and my mother, I think, is there. I know my father. They come around, I think, every now and then. I don't think they stay there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're in and out. But
yeah. Okay, well, that's kind of leading to a question I had, and get back to you guys real quick. With that, so we can catch that moment in time. Now, you're also expressing to us that not only the moment in time, but pre-existing that moment in time, younger, do you believe that there's a possibility we are catching entities or it is? Wow. Okay. Are y'all catching that feedback? Did you hear that?
I did not.
Wow.
Yeah, we heard it.
Yeah. What about the future? Are we at times catching maybe something that's already happened and it's now reflecting in our time period? I mean, I had that question about EVPs. Are we catching post, now, and futuristic, if you will, use that word, if you will, EVPs. But let's go back and talk about apparitions. Could we be catching apparitions from the future at times? Could that be explanation of some of the things we don't understand?
Anything's possible. Anything, if doors open, anything's possible.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Endless amount of possibilities.
Yeah.
We return to strange.
Yes.
See, once in a while, I'll get y'all's brains juicing and think,
Yeah.
talking about, and then go, oh crap, good point. Yeah. That's what we do here at the Project 360. A lot of times we'll have a sit down around the table and we'll discuss theories to help us try to come to situations to understand what's taking place on the property.
Let me ask you, Ed, and your guest set in. How many people still use analog recorders and cameras?
I did, but my equipment got stolen. So I'm rebuilding all over again. And you can find these on Amazon and Temu.
Yeah.
But I would suggest, especially, you know what my favorite? Cassette player recorder.
Yeah, analog cassette.
Now, how many people can understand why an analog cassette recorder would be beneficial comparatively to digital?
Yeah, those drums and the chants I heard was on a little tiny cassette recorder.
Cassette recorder. I'm going to just put it out there for anybody that may be new or tuning in on why analog can be better than digital. It's imprinted. It's an imprinted tape using magnetism to imprint the tape. You're capturing that moment on that tape. Where digital, you're just catching that digital reception or receiving of its frequency. That's why I'm all about analog.
I like analog. I really do.
What's your favorite piece of equipment, by the way? Let's go there real quick. Because we
one?
only got what? Daggone, we got 10 minutes
8
left.
minutes.
Y'all coming back, right?
Yeah, we can.
They're coming back.
Yay.
What?
Well, one of my favorites years ago, dowsing rods.
Dowsing
The
rod?
old-fashioned dowsing rods were good.
Oh yeah, that's
back in the
true.
day.
You used them all.
Yeah, dowsing rods are great. I couldn't use them.
I like them, but I can't.
I did like them.
Bill used that dowsing rod.
Yeah, and Tina could use them, and I think Terry could use them. But for some reason, it didn't work for KB. I don't know why. It's just it.
Oh, hey, Keith's on now.
Oh.
Keith Von Allen.
Who?
Keith Von Allen over in a million.
Oh,
He's
okay.
on now. Hey, Keith.
Yeah.
Good to see you, brother. What about you, Terry? What's yours?
Favorite?
Yeah.
Well, since I'm getting into the Bigfoot thing, I got a digital recorder.
Okay.
But back then, I used the old cassette
Yeah,
tape recorders. Yeah.
And see, these are even OGs not saying what I talk about. My favorite, my go-to is a compass.
Yeah.
Pure natural. I mean, think about it. It's natural. It'll be, if it's true energy, it'll be affected. The
By the
needle will
compass.
spin.
That's right.
You know, good or bad. I mean, we still have to debunk it because if there, what kind of energy is affecting it? Something's affecting it. So, yeah.
And that's one thing about digital. You got to be careful because if you're using a digital recorder, anything like that, you got a cell phone, and a lot of people don't realize it. It interferes with the recorder, and also will interfere with the K2 meters. A cell phone will interfere with that. So that's one thing. A lot of people say, "Oh, I got this. Let me grab your meter, and I'll show you where you're holding it. Then I'm gonna show you why it's going off." So you got to be careful where you got your phone at when you use K2 meters and things like that. The radio frequency will interfere with it, and you'll think you're getting something you're not getting enough.
Plus power lines also.
Yeah, power lines also.
I'm about to do something really funny, so I'm going to leave you on just for a second. But another point was made. Robert said, maybe in America we get confused with prehistory with Native American. I mean, he's got a good point with that. Maybe we do get confused a lot of times with prehistory to history, what we thought was, and it's not at all what we thought the history is.
Yeah, well, that's true. That falls back on the government.
Yeah.
I hate to say it like it, but it falls back on the government. The government tells you what you need to know. Now, they don't teach history like history's supposed to be taught. They teach it to tell you what they want you to believe. And then
Right.
that's the sad part about history. It's not taught like it's supposed to be. I mean, not being realistic about it, like it or don't like it, I'm okay with that.
I know I had to do that.
Oh,
I was like, what are you doing with a broom and dustpan?
I'm trying to get the light better. Damn it. Because I had it, the light changed, and now you can't see us. Now you probably can see us too well. But yeah, I told you I was going to do something funny as hell. That's why they call me cue ball.
So, well, I have a question before. I know we're getting close, but are there any places that you both haven't been to that you're just dying to go investigate?
Be honest with you, no. I can't think of any right off the top of my
I
head.
still want to go back to all that.
But it's one place he wants to go back. So.
We didn't really investigate. We only were there about a half an hour, and then we left.
Yeah, what it was when we started to go to investigate this old plantation. At the top of the plantation, the roof was soldiers were killed in it because the bombs hit it and killed so many soldiers up in the roof. We went in that evening to set up investigating. Myself, Terry, and Tina actually heard 3 coughs coming from upstairs, and there wasn't anybody in the house. But while we were starting the investigation, they had the young hunters out there in that area. Kept coming on the property. Somebody called the cops on the hunters, and cops kept showing up. And I said, "Look, let's pull it because you cannot investigate. Cops keep showing up. You know, even though they know you're out there. These young kids running all around the property. You know, it's time to go." Yeah, so we hope to go back there one day.
Robert just said something pretty damn funny. We're being abducted.
Where the light is.
Take us.
Yeah.
Calgon.
But you know, Terry, my partner here, Terry, he's gotten into the Bigfoot investigation, and we've done a few. But you know, we got a code and set up so if something was to happen, and Terry knows it. You know, if something happens and Terry falls and trips over a log, and he's got to holler, give us a code, know he's been attacked, and it would be the code name is Too Deep, Too Deep, Too Deep, and that way we know he's made contact with Bigfoot.
Too deep?
Yeah, too deep.
Too deep.
See, he would trip me up and he would run. So that way,
when he falls over the log, you know.
Yeah. You sound like a bird. Today.
Hey, I'm just saying. Hey, it works.
We're down to the last 2 minutes, you guys.
And you didn't have answer. I thought you had a lot of questions.
I know. I still got so many. Hopefully, you will accept our graceful offer to come back and let's do this show again.
Yes. Most of you.
Where can people find you guys? If they have questions, they want to know more.
Well, yeah, I know we can find me every day.
I was about to say, why you think I'm giving you the hand right there?
That's what I figured.
Absolutely, sir. All
you
yours.
throw money in that hat for you.
That's right.
Yeah, you can find me Monday through Fridays live on Facebook for right now. I do a show called Morning Coffee with KB. We talk about politics. We talk about the paranormal. We'll talk about that 3-letter word sex. If I know nothing about it, you guys are not the only one that can fake it. It doesn't matter what you guys talk about on Morning Coffee with KB. As long as you don't threaten, kill, dismember, or harm anybody, you got a right to express yourself and say what's on your mind. So you can find me on Facebook Monday through Fridays, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Where can they find you?
Find me right there.
Right where?
Facebook.
Name.
Morning Coffee with KB.
To get it in there.
Yeah.
What about you, Terry? Where can they find you?
I'll go on his show.
Yeah, he's on the show all the
Just follow
time.
him, rate him on the show. There
Yeah.
you go. And it is a great show. It's a great live show they do. Actually, I've been on a couple of times.
Yeah.
Actually, you and I.
Yeah.
What was
The Donut Show.
the Sugar Shack? Yeah, back in the day.
That's on it too.
Yeah,
So.
that's a haunted place.
I bet you it
It
is.
is.
I
I
would
bet that is.
See, I'll tell you the story about that place. You know the story about the Sugar Shack?
No.
Well, back in the day,
We're going to get one story in before we roll.
back on 360, used to be a place called Fridays. And right on that Fridays parking lot, there was an old farmhouse.
Which Fridays now is my
Yeah.
daughter's store.
Yeah,
It's,
well, anyway, on that property,
Warehouse.
a young lady lived there. And up here where the donut shop is, was an old plantation. The guy went down towards that area, had an affair. She became pregnant. Well, he was married, and word got out, and it's in the history books. You can go to the courthouse and check the records. The guy was distraught. He embarrassed himself, his family, his friends. Well, anyway, he decided to commit suicide. So he hung himself out in the parking lot on a tree. They said that when they found the body, his 2 kids were swinging on his legs. And he is seen to be around the donut shop to this day.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Wow. And it's not a donut shop anymore.
No, it's not a donut shop anymore.
That's something, I forgot the name.
It's barbecue place, whatever you
Yes,
want.
it's a
something like that.
barbecue place. Can't think of the name of the road right by and look at it when I was coming.
He's trying to say something. Take a breath.
Wow.
I know it too, and I can't think of it either.
No, I full body apparition. Okay, now I've seen everything on this show and heard it. Rock on. Not even going to go into details and stuff. We had company. Caroline's right.
Ah, that's it. Chilling and grilling.
Chilling and grilling.
That's it.
There it is.
That's it.
Thank you, Lois.
you.
We're all having brain farts over here.
Oh, right.
They do have good food.
Wow.
I've eaten it.
We'll have to talk after this
Yeah.
about that. Travelers and those like, thank you for tuning in. These guys will be returning back here on the Orion Effect right here on the Rift Nation Network. It's been a wonderful evening. Guys, I thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming
Thank
out
you.
and chatting with me, if you will, and
Appreciate
with my wonderful hostess.
it. Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you. I can't wait to do it again.
Absolutely. Travelers and those like, don't forget, continue to help each other. This is a hard time right now. We are all needing each other to get through this. Let's do it together. Put your hand out, get somebody off their knees, on their feet. Just help them. Let's help each other, help us, help them. And until we see you next time on the other side, may virtue be yours.
Be good humans this week.